Hello and welcome back to From Books to Big Screen. You're listening to episode 3, The Girl on the Train. I read this book about 3 years ago for a school assignment, and I love to read, so I was really excited when we got the assignment. It was for like a freshman course class. That's not important, but the book really did not disappoint, and I didn't have the biggest hopes when reading it at first, but it was really surprising to me, and it was one of those ones where you really can't put it down. And it's like a really great example of a suspenseful novel, and it really kept me on my toes within each page. And I really liked the way the author wrote the book and the artistic styles chosen. I felt they were they translated very well. And not only did we have to read the book as a class assignment, we were also assigned to see the movie together as well, which was kind of fun. But when I tell you that the movie and the book are so different from one another, it's like crazy. I remember when I was in the theaters, I was thinking to myself, this scene was nowhere in the book, and who is this character? Like, they brought in random characters, and the scenes made absolutely no sense. I noticed so many changes, but I can't keep count of them all, so I put like the major ones that I want to talk about. So the biggest change right away, which was the fact that the book takes place in London, but the film took place in New York. This change is something that doesn't really change the story's overall plot, so it wasn't really a problem. And I also thought it was funny how Emily Blunt kept her English accent, even though that she was in New York and not London. And it's something noticeable if you read the book, and then saw the film right after. It was more annoying than anything, but if you haven't read the book, I don't think this would have bothered you as a viewer. Another change I noticed, and the most upsetting, was how the movie decided to portray Scott's character. In the book, he was a very abusive husband and a major character, and he plays a major part in the book as he's abusive to both Megan and Rachel, and it also makes him seem, I guess, more convincing as the murder suspect to the police in the book. But in the movie, they painted him as like being not physically abusive, but emotionally abusive and quite less aggressive. And the police, I believe they ultimately rule him out as a suspect. And he has a lot less scenes in the movie. Like, he has a very small part compared to the book, which I thought was very unnecessary. He was like such a necessary character in the book, so I don't know why they decided to like write him a little bit out of the film. And this change caused like a domino effect for me, because it makes Tom's character seem more like the murder suspect in the film than he did in the book, so it kind of like switched their roles a bit. And these changes like dramatically altered the novel's original concept and intent. Like, when it comes to characters and their positioning in the story and the murder case, so changing that in the film really made the whole book different. I don't understand why they needed to create a whole new storyline when the one in the novel was already set in stone and I guess there for them. But it was a creative choice, and I'm not gonna like knock that. But I think some of the changes did not need to happen. And the last thing I wanted to touch on a little bit, which literally everybody in my class was like thinking the same thing, and it wasn't because we were like 18-year-old kids, but there was like a large amount of sex scenes in this film. Like, it felt like there was a sex scene every 20 minutes, and it was kind of shocking. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, in the book they obviously like had sex scenes between like Scott and Megan and like Scott and Rachel, but in the film it was something that like did not need to happen. It was not important to the plot. The only thing that really was important, especially in the book though, was Rachel and Scott's relationship, and in the movie they didn't really dig into that too much. But there did not need to be so many sex scenes that like were just unnecessary. There are still some other little changes made from the book to big screen. They're not the most dramatic or story altering, so I didn't think it needed to be addressed. But these are the ones that I felt were most noticeable and important to the change in the storyline. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time.